Hello. Hi, everybody. Hey, for tonight's class, we are going to do a little yoga sequence, a little yoga flow, and we're going to use a mat and a wall. So if you could just take a moment to make sure that you've got a wall that you can use for tonight's sequence, that would be great. We're going to start on our mat though, okay? So we're going to be in child's pose. We're going to open up our knees, bring our big toes together, and sit back, sink back into our child's pose position. And just rest, reach, and I'm going to add a little bit of music here. And from that child's pose, I just want you to circle around, okay? We're just going to take it and circle and sweep around one direction, just kind of waking up those hips and knees, elbows and shoulders, and big breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And then let's go the other direction. Inhale and exhale, and breathe. We just want to have a nice dynamic movement, fluid stretching in the beginning. Let's slide in, look and twist. Getting that back ready. Reach the opposite direction. Bring that hand in, slide and twist and look over your shoulder and extend back. We're gonna come into puppy dog, so it's a little bit higher. I'm gonna open up my arm, opening up towards the side and then diving through and thread the needle here. So we wanna get a little thoracic rotation. So we wanna just sweep under. Let's go 2 times like that, 2 more times. So we'll go 4 on each side. Big breaths. Last one. And then stretching long in your puppy dog pose. Hips are up a little bit higher. And then we're gonna stretch to the side and then dive through. And let's do that again. Open up and dive through. 2 more like that. Big breath. Good. Now I have a wall behind me, so I'm going to move myself into downward facing dog, but I want to line up my heels right up against the wall. Finding the downward facing dog, opening up feet so that they're a hip width apart, and pressing your bottom, pressing your hamstrings towards the wall behind you. And then from that downward dog, we're just gonna move ourselves to our plank pose. So we've got downward dog, move towards the wall behind you, head in between arms, and then come back to your plank pose. Let's do that one more time. So we're gonna reach up, stretch towards the wall. That wall gives you something to kind of reach for. So you might feel a little bit deeper in that downward facing dog. And then we're gonna come back to our plank. And then since we're just still kind of in warm-up mode, let's just do a few little taps to the side, knee to elbow, knee to elbow. Let's go 2 more like that. Knee to elbow, good. And then our Ashtanga Namaskar, we go knees to the ground, lift your bottom up a little bit, elbows in tight. Cobra, looking up, chin lifts, belly lifts, moving back into your downward facing dog, going into that little vinyasa sequence. Let's do that again. Let's come here to our plank pose. Let's do some taps. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna go knees, chest, chin to the floor. So we go deep knees, chest, chin. Turn those toes, lift up, back extension, cobra, sliding those shoulders away from your ears, and then moving yourself back up into your downward facing dog. We're gonna walk our hands to our feet, allowing a little bit of room for yourself away from the wall for your bottom, but let's just hang down here. Your legs are up against the wall, your bottom is kind of pressed to the wall. Let's just grab elbows and kind of do a little bit of a hang side to side. Releasing our backs, releasing low back, just twisting and moving to the side. And then bringing it back to the center. Let's inhale and reach up tall over our head. And exhale, coming to your mountain pose or your Tadasana. So even in our yoga practice, our mountain pose, if we come up against a wall, we can try to use that wall to really create length and space through our spine. So let's do that. Let's move right up against our wall, palms face forward, ground and root those feet into the floor, and find your very stable, right, very balanced mountain pose. Engage those quads, kind of pick up those kneecaps a little bit so you have very engaged legs, quads, and hamstrings. And we're gonna breathe. From this, on the wall, we're just gonna kind of slide our arms up. We wanna relax our traps. So let's relax your traps. Release that tight shrug that happens. You wanna open up from ears and shoulders. And then we're gonna just come over to one side and we're gonna just get a nice big long stretch. Reaching through fingertips, trying to stay up against that wall. So you're just coming directly to the side, not really forward. Nice stretch, and then come back up, release those traps, and then let's go over to the other side, and let's just get a nice big stretch. We wanna reach down to the ground, as well as reach over above your head. Good. Oh, that feels good. We're gonna bring both arms back up. We're gonna come down. We're gonna use the wall to just kind of open up chest. So we wanna take one hand on the wall here, and we wanna just kind of push forward and kind of in a little diagonal here and open up that chest. And then I'm gonna go to the other side. So I'm gonna take that hand, I'm about at arm's distance from that wall, and just kind of move in that direction, just opening up chest. Good. One of the nicest releases on a wall is we're gonna come here to a tabletop position. So I want to be in a right angle at hip and knee, okay? Right angle at hip and knee. So if here's the wall, I'm going to reach my head right in between and just get a nice release here in the hamstrings, in the low back. And then we can take it on a diagonal, so we can kind of move to the side. So you're taking your reach on a diagonal line, and then back to the center, and then do that again over here. Take it on a diagonal, hand on the wall, and come center. Good. All right, so starting on our wall here, coming to a wide stance here, about as wide or even maybe wider than your yoga mat, so you have to just kind of see what's comfortable for you. We're gonna turn one foot and have it be parallel to the wall. The other foot is gonna come into a diagonal, okay? We're gonna use our wall and we're gonna stretch and lengthen, create that nice long spine position, standing tall out of the top of your head. And then we're gonna come into our Trikonasana. So this is a great stretch just to open up hip. We wanna, now if you notice, you might not be able to tell, I'm off of the wall right here. So now that I have the wall, I can open up so that I can even rest my head and my top arm on the wall. I'm sliding down the bottom leg with my lower arm to where I am comfortable. And breathing. We want to hold our pose. This is our triangle pose, our extended triangle pose. We want to hold our pose, but not our breath. So one more breath in this. Big reach, big stretch. We want this arm extended straight out of the shoulder. And then I'm going to come back up, regroup, resettle, and then adjust feet. So now this foot's going to go in a 45-degree angle. This foot's going to be parallel to the wall. I'm going to stretch those arms long and use the wall. I've got my back hip kind of right up against the wall. And then I'm going to go to wherever my flexibility allows on this side. I'm going to reach down the leg and then use the wall. I want to back up into the wall. Bring that arm up. Turn my chin so I'm looking up towards the ceiling. Big stretch all through that side body. And we want to press that heel, both heels press into the floor. Let's take 2 more breaths here in our big triangle pose. The wall is giving us support, which is allowing us to go deeper into that stretch, that triangle pose, okay? So triangle pose on a wall is awesome. You wanna be right up against the wall and you wanna try to open your chest and open your front body towards the wall to get deeper into the pose. Let's do it one more time. We're gonna take it front foot parallel to the wall. We'll go a little bit quicker. We're gonna reach. If maybe I open up my legs a little bit more, I might be able to go a little bit deeper down that front leg. Looking up, moving arm to the wall behind. Chest is open, shoulder is open. Sinking into this back heel. Breathing, let's go 2 more breaths in our extended triangle pose. Even head is supported against the wall. Chin turned up towards that top arm, and then we're gonna come out of it. And let's do it again. Extend those arms. We want straight, long line with those arms, and then we're gonna reach over, down to the ground, up to the ceiling, and then open, right? We wanna lift up and open and breathe. Extended triangle pose. Couple more breaths, pushing that back heel into the floor, and then coming up and out of that. Good work. Let's just walk, finding our Tadasana, circling out those shoulders, breathing, big breaths. Let's take ear to one side, reaching away from your ears with the shoulders. Take it into a half circle forward, and let's do that to the other side. Reaching that ear to shoulder, and then back to the center. The walls are great for balance as well, and it can help you to get into the pose deeper, hold the pose for longer, which is going to be more challenging, and just feel more stability underneath you. So I'm going to go to the side here, okay? We're going to work on our 3-point star and our Ardha Chandrasana. So I want the wall pretty close to me, but I don't want to be right up against it. I'm not touching the wall right now, but I'm pretty close. We're going to come into our forward fold. So let's come into our forward fold. And the leg that is going to stay on the floor is the leg that is closest to the wall. So I'm going to take my opposite leg up. And here's our 3-point star. I want to try to keep this hip down. So I can even kind of use the wall like right against my shoulder here and keep a nice extended leg. Now from 3-point star, I'm going to take this into half moon. So I'm going to take one hand up on hip, and now I have 2 points of contact balancing me from underneath. And then I'm going to turn and rotate and find my half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So I have the wall just supporting a little bit of the back of my hip, but I'm going to really try to move myself back to the wall. Oh, I just went so much deeper in that pose. Difficult when you don't have the wall behind you. You can lose your balance. You can maybe just not be quite as open and extended. Breathing. In our Ardha Chandrasana, a kind of a final piece of it is coming here to a bent knee. And so I can even work on that with this support of the wall behind me. We want to come out of the pose like we came into the pose. So I'm going to extend the leg up again, and then I'm going to find that 3-point star. Here we go. And then back to the center position. Stacking the vertebrae and taking a little rest. I totally felt that in hamstrings and glutes. The wall should not be any easier. You should just feel like you can have a little bit more support. So we got to do that on the other side. I hope that that felt good for you guys too. I'm going to turn around the other side. I don't want to be right on the wall, but I want to be close, right? I'm going to take myself to 3-point star first. So forward fold. Remember, the leg that lifts up is the leg further away from the wall. So we're going to come here to our 3-point star. In 3-point star, we want to have hip down, right? Hip down, but leg high. Trying to work on that. And then I'm going to leave one hand and that one foot on the ground. I'm going to come into Ardha Chandrasana. So I start to rotate out and then extend up. And then find that wall. I want to extend and reach. Maybe you can come up into my fingertips here with my bottom hand. If I'm comfortable, maybe I'm going to find that finishing piece. Maybe not, right? But with the wall, I'm feeling like I can do that. Extending, coming out of it like you came into it. I gotta turn that hip down a little bit and then back to both feet. Let's come halfway up, flat back, all the way in, and arms come up. All right, those are two of my favorite standing poses. Ardha Chandrasana, the balancing pose. We added in our 3-point star as well, and then also triangle pose with the wall. So let me give you just a couple more here to practice. With the wall, we can start to work on our big toe hold, okay, which is always a difficult balancing pose. So let's see, how am I gonna do this facing the camera? I'm gonna have the wall behind me. I'm gonna have a little bit of my weight with my back arm on the wall, just to give a little bit of support. And then I'm gonna work here on connecting big toe and fingertips, and then extending and reaching out. Now, if I have a little bit of my hip, my back hip on the wall, or maybe I can reach with my top arm onto the wall in this extended version of our tree pose. Big toe hold, yes, good, reach, reach, reach. Using that wall as you need to. Coming into tree pose, balancing. The standing one-legged balance sequences are always difficult, right? So using the wall either behind you or just for a light touch. I could even be to the side here and have just a little bit of a light touch on the wall, and then come to the other leg where I'm gonna go big toe hold. So I'm gonna reach with my fingertips, come out to the side, extend the leg, maybe extend the arm up, right? Reaching tall. Now I have the ability to work on the height of my leg, the straightness of my leg, right? Because it takes away a little bit of the balance issue, and it allows you to work on maybe the depth of the pose. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use your wall to give you just a little bit of assistance. If I turn to the wall and I'm just working on a straight leg hamstring stretch and working on that piece where I'm connecting, if you use your peace fingers to do that connection, you can do that. So you just have your legs straight up against the wall, your foot on the wall, and you can work on finding that connection, right, with your leg as straight as you can be, and then you can move it out to the side, extending those arms. Good. So let's do that one more time, using your wall how you need to. I'll do this side here. This is my last time on this side here. And then we'll go peace fingers, index finger and middle finger, and reach. So when I have the wall, I can try to usually pull up a little bit higher here, extending and balancing. Good work. That feels good. All right, we're gonna come out of that, regroup, Tadasana, and breathe. All right, let's find ourselves back on our wall for our downward facing dog. We're gonna do just a little bit of release, okay? Some deep stretches, and then we're gonna be all set for today. Our downward facing dog, I want you to walk back up with your heels to the wall. And this time, we're gonna just climb up the wall a little bit here with one foot. Working on our ekapada, our one-legged downward facing dog. So the wall gives you an ability to reach and extend that one leg up a little bit higher, but keep it supported. When you're on a downward dog up against a wall as well, you can try to just be sinking those heels just a little bit deeper into the floor. So let's do that on the other side, keeping that downward facing dog, maybe picking up the other leg, reaching it up. Finishing with your reset and your downward facing dog. And then let's bring our knees to the ground, doing a little bit of cat-cow where we round up and we flatten it out, lifting chin and tailbone, and doing that again, rounding up and flattening out, cat-cow. Okay, to finish our practice, our little yoga wall practice, we're gonna go legs up on the wall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit really close to the wall. I'm gonna come right next to the wall so that when I bring my legs up onto the wall, my bottom is as close to the wall as my flexibility will allow. So depending on how flexible those hamstrings are, you might need to move back a little bit to accommodate that, or you can do the opposite and try to get really snug right next to the wall. So I'm gonna turn my back down onto the mat, bring my feet up, and then I want to move myself so I'm right up on the wall. And then flexing and pointing, even doing Shavasana in this position is a really nice way to get a little bit of inversion. My feet are above heart, getting a nice passive stretch there in hamstrings. And relaxing and breathing. Legs up the wall is a wonderful way to resettle your spine. If you have any lumbar back pain, any low back pain, this is a really nice position to just kind of take a little bit of a rest in, a couple of breaths, 5 breaths, 10 breaths in your legs up the wall. We can go into butterfly pose here and push and open up our knees so that we're using the wall to kind of have something to sort of reach to. We can even do our figure 4 to get into those hips and glutes a little bit deeper. So using your wall to get your final kind of deeper stretches. I'll do that to the other side here, figure 4. I want to just kind of gentle movement, but I want to kind of open up, pressing towards the wall just to get a little deeper hip opener there. So finishing your practice, giving me just a few moments with legs up the wall so that we can go. I'm going to come out of this. To get out of it, you just bend your knees, roll back over to the side and push yourself up. But I want you to stay in your legs up the wall. We're just going to find a little quick Shavasana for our practice, just to seal in our practice, to feel good. So close your eyes, find your breath again. Allow that breath to fill your belly and fill your chest, relaxing the muscles in your face, relaxing the muscles in your shoulders, feeling your spine on your mat and the length of it, creating space in between those vertebrae. And then just drop that tailbone down just a little bit deeper, allowing those hamstrings to stretch up against the wall. You might notice that your feet just kind of relax in more of like a flex position. Taking a few breaths there in your legs up on the wall. Shavasana. Inhaling and exhaling. Setting an intention to feel good, to bring back with you from your yoga practice the calm, the peace, the strength, the confidence. One more breath. And then you're going to open up your eyes. So remember, you're just going to bring those knees down and you're going to kind of roll over onto your side and sit up off of the wall. This is called Thunderbolt pose. I'm just kind of sitting back on my feet, or we can find a Sukhasana, a seated cross-legged pose. We could even use our wall to find that nice long spine position, that nice straight back. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today with a little bit of yoga on the wall. It was fun to do something different. Have a great day. Namaste.